more than
Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Ahman Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leader in rushing, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Emilio in Tennessee. We have Jacob joining us shortly. We don't know where he's at right now, but we'll see. Yeah, just hopefully.
We don't even know if he'll join us shortly. It's just a hope and a pray with him.
Just hope he posted bond. That's all I'm hoping to happen. So hopefully everybody had an awesome day today on this glorious November the 6th. I know we went live earlier, chatted with some folks, had a bunch of people jump in here. That was awesome on the afternoon show. So I know we're getting ready for a little bit of Thursday night prime football this evening, as we've got the Raiders at the Broncos. So the 2-6 Raiders trying to upset the 7-2 Broncos, who are 4-0 at home. I was hoping we might get some cold weather. Looks like it's about 56 degrees out there in Denver. So we'll keep you guys posted on that game as we go through the show. Also, we're going to hit on the injury report. We get the first injury report for Packers-Eagles. We're going to give you guys the first Packers-Eagles PFF preview. We'll talk about the betting line, talk about the quarterback comparison, and some of the other metrics there. Then we're going to dive into a Week 10 preview of the NFL, kind of show you the slate of games, and then jump into a little playoff prediction and kind of play around with the playoff predictor there, Emilio, and see how does this game affect other games and whatnot, and what it's going to take to kind of try to keep a stranglehold on that NFC North. But before we get into everything, if you guys would do that YouTube stuff for me, hit like, hit subscribe. If this is your first time tuning into PTA, welcome. Thank you for making us a part of your evening. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media members. We're fans just like you talking Packers on the daily. So make sure you click subscribe and hit that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. Amelia, you were going to say something there, but I had to get the –
I was just going to say, you said 56 up in Bronco country. Man, how beautiful was it today? Did you even go outside, or were you just sitting in front of the computer playing your games all day?
No, we worked today, and man, it's kind of sad too, because as you're driving around Tennessee, we're up here in Northeast Tennessee. Emilio's about an hour south of us, something like an hour and a half. I'm driving around, look at these trees, going, we only got about another week, and all those leaves are gone. You know,
that's crazy.
It's gorgeous right now, man. It's just absolutely gorgeous.
And yesterday with the wind, man, it's fall, and the colors look great. But yeah, beautiful 70 degrees down here. I couldn't complain.
Yeah, it's been great for sure. So, all right, man, let's jump into it. Let's hit this injury report real quick. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this, Emilio, but I think it is important to kind of dive in. Just a couple of quick notes that caught my eye. Dontavion Wicks was back at practice, but he was limited. Obviously, he's dealing with the calf injury. And Lucas Van Ness still did not participate. So it may be another week before we get LVN back. But if we dive into this specific injury report here, it's about as good as I can do.
That's perfect.
Yeah. So Packers side, limited. You had Aaron Banks, Edgerrin Cooper, Matthew Golden, Josh Jacobs, Micah Parsons, Zach Tom, Quay Walker, Christian Watson, Dontavion Wicks, and Kobe Wooden. All of those were limited. I think it's safe to say outside of maybe Dontavion Wicks, the large majority of those guys are probably going to play, right? And then when you jump into the did not participate, you had Nate Hobbs, Lucas Van Ness, and Savion Williams. It's a foot injury for Savion Williams. I think there's a realistic chance, Emilio, that Savion will not be out there this Sunday. It'd be nice to get Tay Wicks back, obviously, to kind of help fill in that role a little bit. And in terms of Lucas Van Ness, unless he practices tomorrow or maybe even Saturday, I know we're one day behind in terms of the injury report as opposed to a normal schedule. I wouldn't expect him to play, and I don't think there's any chance Nate Hobbs plays, obviously, with the MCL there. So anything jump off the page there to you on the Packers side?
No, happy about Mr. Wicks, Mr. Dontravion. Let's get him back out there, right? We're missing him, and Christian will take it, time by time. At least you have him limited. You don't need to go full tilt. And Yeah, I'm not too mad at the rest of that, really. I'm happy that McManus is full. I'm sure that would make our boy Tim happy as well. Make sure that he's in good shape, and you really only can tell. I loved Matt's response on his interviews. Like, well, how do you know Brandon's good? Well, I see him every day in practice. Like,
right.
How do you know he's good? That's fair. I mean, that's the truth. So I just like that he's straight up with it. Still tough about LVN. Maybe we miss him a little bit more on this front than we had previously thought when you're going into think about Carolina and stuff like that. And it's besides that, not too bad.
Yeah, and that's the same exact way I seen Brandon McManus as well. This idea that us as fans, and this includes us, that me and Emilio here talking, that we somehow think we know what's best for the kicker position. Matt's watching him kick all week long, as well as Haversick. For all we know, behind closed doors, Haversick may be shanking every other kick.
Right.
You don't truly know, right? But with that being said, that's why when he missed that kick last week, he being Brandon McManus, he pulled it. And I think he was kind of in his head. He's trying to, you're coming back from that injury and you're trying to get back into the swing of things. You got a little bit of wind. Obviously, it was gusting 20, 25 mile an hour all day long. That's a lot to think about, So I think they'll stick with Brandon McManus this week. And listen, if his struggles continue, and let's say Haversick is looking good behind the scenes, you can just go straight to Haversick, keep McManus as a backup plan, see if Haversick gets hot over McManus, do the same thing you're doing right here, and, no harm, no foul, right? And after this year, you can actually get out of McManus's contract if you want to next year with minimal cap. I think you'll free up roughly $1.6 million, I think it is,
right,
in space next year if you decide to move on. Not that they should. Again, I'm amazed, Emilio, how people went from McManus's – last year he was outside of a guy who only kicked 2 field goals, I believe. He had the highest field goal percentage in the entire league.
Right.
Suffers a quad injury, struggling to get back into the swing of things. All of a sudden, people are ready to kick him to the curb. I can't get on board with that, man.
Yeah, and especially after the kicker woes we went through. I mean, so yeah, he Haversick's 10-0 or 9 for 9 on kicks, and yeah, what if you put him out there and he misses 2? Then what's everyone going to say? You can't sit there and dress 2 if you're only able to dress 48 a game. You kind of have to make that decision pre-game. You really need those jerseys. So I just let the man kick. That's why we brought him in. That's why we paid for him. I think he's got more clutch scenarios too, more time crunch, ice in his veins type stuff. Yeah, Haversick hit the Packers history longest, but I mean, does that really matter at this moment? Because Brandon McManus could hit it a 62-yarder at the end of this year. Yeah, maybe that 58 one came up short, but he had the straightness, and he was still coming back from the quad. So I'm not mad at it. And I think we just got to let him go.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris Casual says McManus was stone cold last season. He really was, man. He was. So that's why I'm not so quick to, kick him to the game. And that's the thing, too, is all the experience that he has kicking in big games and whatnot, right? And here you got Haversick who, go look at his career stats, right? It's not like they're, wow, that's world beater numbers. He's off to a great start this year. Obviously, in filling in, he did his job. But to just assume that's the kicker he's going to be moving forward, I think it's a bit of a stretch. So let's jump over.
Good thing, real fast before you go, the only good thing is Matthew Golden. Don't see his name on that list. When he went down for that diving catch, he was out of the game the rest of that game. So I'm glad that I'm serious. I'm sorry.
He was
wow.
No, but your sentiment, it's spot on anyway, Emilio, because Matt LaFleur talked about how they kind of expect it, the vibe I got. They expect him to play,
right?
So
and with Savion being out, maybe you're on him a little bit more. I read that 3 times. I literally missed his name each time. I don't know how I did that,
dude. It's such fine print. I can barely see it, but it is what it is, right? Philadelphia Eagles side, all right, full participation. Saquon, then you've got Jacorian Bennett. He's a cornerback. A.J. Brown with the hammy. He was full participation. Some people were worried if he was going to play this week. Willie Lampkin, you remember that name, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Guard/center. He's got a knee and an ankle. He was full participation. And Nolan Smith, outside linebacker with triceps, full participation. Now, in terms of limited, Adoree Jackson, cornerback, he has a concussion, so he's still in concussion protocol, I would imagine. And then you got Moro Ojomo, if I'm saying that right, defensive tackle, concussion as well. He's limited. So Those are your limited players. And then, of course, Cam Jurgens, their center. I'm imagining that's a starting center. Wasn't that the center that they drafted? I think they said Jason Kelsey helped them handpick him in the draft.
Right. And then
Cam
they put him
Jurgens.
at right guard or left guard or whatever, and then trained him up.
Yeah, so he's got a knee. He did not participate. That might be a bit of an issue for them if he can't go there.
Yes. Shorter list and only a couple that you really need to pay attention to. Like you said, the center. And besides that, really just center, I would think. I mean, you have Adoree Jackson out of corner, but they were talking about how Quinyon Mitchell sometimes follows players. And I'm over here, who's he going to be following on our end? But do they need another quarter? They got Cooper DeJean back there. I mean, they have secondary help, so I'm not too worried about that. Really, just the center inside. But Willie Lampkin, real quick, 168.4 on our board. He was a wrestler and had
way undersized, right, Emilio?
Yeah,
way
undersized. Yep.
How's he grading out? Do we have any idea?
No, I can pull him up though. You go ahead and keep talking, or you can pull him up.
Actually, I won't put it on the screen, but I've got it right here, I think. Let me just kick this over real quick. It's going to throw everything. Never mind. Look it up, Emilio. What the hell are you doing over? You're not doing anything.
No, you're right. I'm on
it. So I love what Respect Orange says here while you're looking it up. He says, Moro Ajomo. Thanks, Clayton. My furniture's floating in my room now. Oh, man. So, yeah, if you guys remember, Willie Lampkin was very, very undersized. Did he play at Wake Forest?
North
UNC,
Carolina.
UNC, right? Yep. UNC, yeah. So he was undersized. Yeah, Lampkin was about 275 pounds. But if I remember correctly, Emory Hunt had him as the best center in the draft. And everybody's like, what is he smoking, right?
Yep.
What's he grading out to? You got it there yet? Any idea?
Our boy Lampkin is oh, man. There he is. They have him at center right now, actually.
Right. That's what I expected, yeah.
But no, they don't even have a grade for him, I don't think.
Okay, so has he not played, maybe? Is that what it is?
No, I don't see any snaps or anything.
Okay, so he's just kind of in the backup role, it sounds like. So
gotcha. Okay.
So maybe he will kick in the center if Cam Jurgens can't go in this game, right?
Mm-hmm. And he actually says he was a free agent, too. Los Angeles Rams picked him up first and then ended up in Philly. But again, Philly's moving a lot of pieces around over there, and they know how to build in the trenches, so.
Absolutely. So there you go, guys. There's your injury report for Thursday. Thursday is going to be like a normal Wednesday, obviously, with it being a Monday Night Football game. So we'll get the second injury report tomorrow. Saturday will be the final with the game status designation. Let us know in the comments if you're watching this video back later. How do you feel about this injury report? Are you worried? Is there any players here that you think that we maybe aren't as worried about that you think might not play come Monday night against the Philadelphia Eagles? And also make sure you hit like, subscribe, click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. All right, let's get into a little Packers-Eagles PFF preview. I want to do something a little bit different this time. I want to look at the overall grades and kind of see where they stack up. This is kind of wild. The Packers overall are grading out, according to PFF, as the fourth best team in the league. All right, so you got the Rams 1, Seahawks 2, Lions 3, Packers 4, which is wild that the top 4 teams, according to PFF, are actually NFC teams there, right? And if you go on down in the number 5 spot, the Indianapolis Colts, 6 is the Kansas City Chiefs, and then number 7 is the Philadelphia Eagles. So the way PFF sees this overall kind of preview, Packers are grading out at 86.5 on the year. The Eagles are grading out an 83.5. Does that kind of catch you off guard, or you feel like that's where they should be there? We get the Bills at number 8, Patriots number 9, and then rounding out the top 10 is the Denver Broncos are getting ready to kick off here in a second.
Yeah, maybe that, is PFF, how they kind of base it off consistency. Maybe that's just us kind of narrowing down our consistency, just because I know that the Eagles had a couple of different ones where they were, feast or famine out there. So I think that those numbers may be fair. It could also be flip-flopped just as easily. It's not too much of a difference. You're still mid-80s. We're a little bit higher, but with that run block and always being a tough grade for us, you'd think that maybe we could be a little bit even higher than that. But with the Eagles being like, an 83.5, I'm not too worried about it. Right around the same range for points for and against as well. Yeah.
So if you sort it by offensive grade, the Packers dropped to 12th at 75.8. The Eagles jumped to 6th at a 77.8. So PFF seems to be thinking they're playing better football than the Packers on offense. When you go to defense, Green Bay's grading out as the second best defense in the league. Philly drops down to 10th. So it's one of those things from PFF's perspective in terms of grades. And again, it's not everything, guys. They think Philly has the better offense. Packers have the better defense. I think this has got the makings to be a great game, man. I think it's going to come down to protecting the football. And like Matt LaFleur said at his presser today, you want to stop the tush push, keep them out of 4th and short. You know, that's what you do. Keep it 3 yards or more. So,
no, that's exactly it, and that's the only way to do it, right? You got to keep them at 3rd and 5 plus, and then when you are at 3rd and 5, you cannot give up any yards. You got to get them off the field because they can't run a touch push from there. But you get them to 4th and 2, they maybe give that a shot. So it's it's something the defense has to tighten up on. They kept asking Keyshawn about how he's going to respond to the tush push. He goes, there's nothing I can do over at corner. It's like, I just got to make sure I mark my man and make sure if he runs a route and they try to fake it, he doesn't get past me. So, and Matt really steered away from it as well, too. They kept drilling him on the questions on it. And it was just, move on, let the man scheme something up, and we can talk about it after the game.
Absolutely. Let's dive into some of the important analytics, the numbers here. Okay, let's start off with the point spread. The market currently has the spread at 2.5 still here, according to PFF's website. All right, so it opened at 2.5. It dropped to, let's see. No, it didn't. That's PFF's number. So it's just stayed put the whole time, 2.5, according to PFF on the market number here. Okay, now when you look at the spread, we talked about the money earlier. I think it was yesterday, right? You've got 90% of the money is on the Philadelphia Eagles plus 2.5 points. Okay. So only 10% on the Packers there. That's 80% of the slips are on Philly plus 2.5. All right. When you go to the money line, which is just winning outright, it looks like 90% of the money is on the Eagles. 78% of the tickets are on the Eagles. So they are heavy, heavy, heavy favorites from the gambling community in terms of where the money's going, who they're betting on there, right? So I usually like this. I've said it week in and week out, Emilio, when you see a heavy point favorite and the public's all over the Packers, I'm like, don't like it. Mm-hmm. Last week was one of them, right? And then you end up losing the game. Not that it has any tremendous bearing on the result of the game. It's just Vegas knows what the hell they're doing, boys. I'm just telling you, man. They do. So what's your initial thoughts on that in terms of, and the over-under is set at 45.5.
Yeah. Do you maybe feel a little bit better that we're in the opposite situation this time than we were last week? Rather than, because we're at home, which helps a lot, but we're in sort of the same spot. Okay. Flip-flopped, and you still got to show up for the game. Doesn't matter who's on the other side of the field, but there's a little bit more to this game. Keyshawn remembers that hit. He said, "Oh yeah, I remember the hit. I want to beat them. Christian's lost to him 3 times since he's been there." There's a lot that this team, needs to do. Get the monkey off your back, sort of thing. Maybe looking at that spread that way, is a little sign or something that we can step up, show up for this game, go 1-0 this week.
Yeah. Definitely. So let's look at the team metrics. Overall power ranking, PFF has the Packers 4th best in the league, the Eagles 7th best in the league. On defense, their power ranking has the Packers 12th and the Eagles 11th. However, their grades have the Packers defense grading out 2nd best and the Eagles grading out 10th. That's where you run into some discrepancies when it comes to PFF, right? Offensively, it's kind of the flip-flop there. They have the Packers grading out ranked 4th best, with the Eagles ranking 6th best. Strength of schedule, however, the Packers have played the 25th toughest schedule in the league. The Eagles are a little more battle tested with the 12th toughest schedule. So they've been a little more tested in terms of the strength of opponent. To this point, you guys know how I feel about strength of schedule. It's just constantly changing. Average snaps per game offensively, Packers are sitting at 65 snaps. The Eagles are averaging 61. We run the ball slightly more than the Eagles do at 42.2%. They're at 41.4%. So both teams going to be throwing the ball around 58% of the time if they stick to that average. In terms of running, EPA per run, the Eagles are way better at the run than the Packers. Positive 0.02 EPA per run. Packers negative 0.04. However, EPA per pass, the Packers are at a positive 0.26. The Eagles are at a positive 0.14. So essentially what we're learning here, Emilio, EPA-wise, we have the better passing game. They have the better running game. If you remove Carolina's game last week, our run defense has been really, really good.
Yeah.
Let's hopefully get back to old form and not, we showed it on Chalk Dog. We showed you 3 running plays, and all 3 plays where you had the resources allocated, our guys just got out of their run fit. Do you agree with that, or am I looking?
No, I think that's what we kind of came to yesterday, and that's where you just see is it a mental lapse? Is it just not a studying of tape thing, whatever it may be? I think it probably was just a, flinch reaction. Those are the things we kind of need to hammer out. You just got to trust that everybody, is doing their 111th on the field. You got to stay in your lane, stay in your gap, and you just can't get caught peeking. And all right, fine. We learned about it against Carolina. Let's move forward and keep going now.
Yeah. Now, when you go to the quarterback matchup here, Jalen Hurts is grading out an 82.6, Jordan Love 79.6. Passer rating when the pocket is clean, Jordan Love 130.5, Jalen Hurts 125.5. Here's where the Eagles quarterback has the advantage over Jordan Love. Jalen Hurts passer rating when under pressure 87.6. Keep in mind they run a 6-back offense. A lot of RPR looks, right? So some of those, it may look like under pressure when they're designed for him to run, pass, run option, get out and roll out with the option to run. Typically, that'll freeze the defense. Sometimes that can inflate the numbers a bit. I'm not trying to take anything away from Jalen Hurts. I'm one of the few Packer fans that thinks Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback. I think he's a great quarterback, a great leader as well. Jordan Love with pressure, however, this is where he struggled. 42.1 passer rating under pressure there. Big time throw percentage, advantage Jordan Love 4.75%, Jalen Hurts 3.97%. Turnover worthy play percentage, Jordan Love's has now blimped to a 3.05%, and Jalen Hurts is protecting the football really, really well, only 1.44% there. Power rating, however, 4.5 edge goes to Jordan Love, 4.0 for Jalen Hurts. Power rating rank, essentially PFF saying this is the 7th best quarterback in the league versus the 8th best quarterback in the league. They give the slight edge to Jordan Love, although, surprise, Emilio, Jordan Love has the lesser grade, but somehow they think he's better.
Yeah, lesser grade, but he's got a bigger big-time throw percentage, so let's give him the number, right? And, you want to – it's all they want to see. Let me get a 50-yard, 60-yard gain and move on. But, yeah, it's going to be a battle between the two. Jalen being, like you were saying, under pressure, if it's RPR, whatnot, being able to handle that is good. When Jordan's under pressure, yeah, we had a pick. When our O-lines, that's also probably a testament to their O-line. Yeah, he's under pressure, but what kind is the pressure? How close is he? Is it hands up? Are they still in front of the guy? So with all that, I think that, having Jordan be double the turnover-worthy play percentage of Jalen Hurts, I'm not mad at those. I'm not mad at those numbers. I don't think I would trade Jordan or take away that from him, but we want to see him tighten it up. And I think going through a couple of those deep shots and getting that pick, just a reminder, hey, we got to be clean with the ball, take the win and keep going.
Yeah, definitely. We got Jacob joining us now. 2-0 for this has a question for you, Jacob. He says, Jacob, how accurate is Magic Mike?
Not very. I mean, those guys washboard abs. It's more like, why have a 6-pack when you can have a full keg? You know what I mean?
Thick.
Thank you.
It's hilarious to ask that question, right? I get asked the question a lot, knowing that I grew up in a biker family. Hey, is Sons of Anarchy, is that pretty? No, it's not accurate. Are you kidding me? They don't look like that. Trust me.
Right.
All my uncles don't look like those Hollywood folks. I promise you that. So, but thanks for answering that question, Jake. Let me ask you a question, man. Do you have the over-unders? You get those easily accessible there? The reason I want to ask you is I want to know what the over-unders are for Jordan Love and Jalen Hurts in this game in terms of passing yards. And I also want to know what Jalen Hurts' over-under is on rushing yards, because while he's looking that up, Emilio, and we'll kind of let him take over in a second, are you worried about Jalen Hurts running the football on us? Because I feel like since Hafley took over, we haven't had a problem with scrambling quarterbacks. The sacks are going to go down a little bit because we got that cage rush and some touch spying going on. But I feel like it worked last week. The problem was we got out of our run fits when they handed the ball off to Rico Dowdle.
I would only be worried a little bit just in the fact of where our pass rush would be, how much pressure are we actually going to be getting under him or on him. Either way, he's kind of spinning it under pressure or not under pressure. So if we're going to just cage rush it, can we maybe do it in a fire zone and try to get him off balance, get something from a different way so that it's not just the 4 down every time. Yeah, he knows where Mike is going to be, but that O-line isn't bad. I think that's why we're going to be banking a lot on what happens with their center. And then we need to really kind of see how we can attack that O-line and force Jalen into some pickle situations.
Got it. Go ahead, Jacob. You have the floor, sir. Talk to us about the over-unders there, man.
Sure. If you're looking for Jordan Love's over-under in the pass yards, he is slated at 231.5, according to Prize Picks, which generally lines up with Underdog and DraftKings and that sort of stuff there. Jalen Hurts is slated at 195.5 as it sits right now. You asked about his rushing as well. He is going to be right at 28.5. Jordan Love at 10.5. And while I'm here, I might as well tell you, Josh Jacobs at 70.5 and Saquon at 76.5.
I feel really good about the over for Jordan Love. Their passing defense seems to have been their weak spot early in the year. I'm going to double check that, but I'm pretty sure that's how that falls as we uncovered that yesterday. What do you think about those over-under numbers, Amelia? You see me point up. I'm taking the over with Jordan Love in passing yards. What would you do, man?
Scared money don't make Scared money don't make money.
We do it nice because we do it twice, right?
I'm telling you, that's it. Yeah, I think Love's gonna be hucking that thing. Yeah, we need to get. I think
doing that thing.
On what?
Huck Tua in that thing, or
no.
Just
No, but he could be. I don't know.
Where did she go, by the way? Where is she?
She disappeared, Jacob.
I think the feds are still looking for her over
That's
that.
what I think.
Yeah, no, I over on both for sure.
All right, got it. What would you do, Jacob, in that regard?
Boy, I think I would take the over on Love. I think I might take the under on Hurts just because I feel like it could be a more physical game where they try to really do a lot of run fits, even some quarterback sneaks. We obviously know what they have in the tush push and everything that comes along with that. I think and then definitely I'd slam the over on his rush yards. Every single week that they have Jordan Love in single digits or right around 10, 11, it just seems like he's more capable than ever in his ability to kind of peel it out. And he's not doing it like he needs to, like a lot of young quarterbacks or, even seasoned quarterbacks that always kind of just tuck and run because that's their best option. He really does wait, it seems like, until that's the only other option, unless it's just like a wide open lane. So I love that about him. I think that he's going to utilize that. And in this game specifically, knowing how big of a matchup it is against the Eagles, I think he's going to smash that over.
Got it. And you mentioned Josh Jacobs. That number seemed a little high to me. I had it wrong there. Their passing defense is 12th best in the league. The rushing defense is 19th best in the league. So Josh Jacobs, another week healthier, right? And I think he looked great last week. I wish we would have kind of stuck with the run a little bit more in those first down situations, obviously, and then a little later in the game. But maybe Jacobs is the better play there than Jordan, although I still feel pretty good about Jordan going over that number because there's also a chance that Philly jumps out to an early lead here and Jordan's having to throw the ball maybe more than we want him to, right?
Right. Jacob, Jen Wright asked, do you have Watson's yards?
Yeah, I do, actually. I'm kind of surprised at this. Christian Watson's slated at only 31.5.
Oh.
I mean, he could do that in one shot. You know what I mean? Wow. Easy money. While we're at it, Romeo Doubs at 52.5. And guys, this is a Thursday night, so we've got quite a bit of time before we snap the ball Sunday night. So these do shift quite a bit. Not I shouldn't say quite a bit, but generally they will move up and down. So they got Musgrave at 30.5. I mean, that one's tempting as well. Jacobs at 18.5 receiving yards. And let me know if you want to know any about the Philadelphia Eagles side. But I mean,
I know where you're going, Clay. Let's hear it.
That Watson just seems like over.
And traditionally, Vic Fangio runs quarters match, right? Contrary to popular belief, where Mia Kimes just said, "All you got to do is throw the ball over the top, beat quarters. It's easy, right?" Listen, typically the way teams attack this is to get deep enough on crossers, right? Crossers and digs to get those corners to commit to that target and then throw something in behind it, right? So think of it from that standpoint. If they are in quarters a lot, and I don't know if they are this year, I'd have to go watch their tape extensively to find out, is that truly quarters? Are they playing spot drop? Are they playing more cover three? We got the numbers. We'll talk about what they are here in a minute. When you talk about them, if they're playing that traditional Vic Fangio shell look, that would make me think that's going to deter us from throwing over the top as much as maybe we want to. We got burned last week doing that, right? We've seen a little bit of shell look. You end up throwing into triple coverage. You get the pick in that one play. To me, it kind of feels like it might be either Matthew Golden or Romeo Doubs I would be more interested in. However, like you said, Jacob, Christian Watson, 30-some yards, man. Because they're going to move him around. We've seen him play F. We've seen him play X. He's played Z. He's mostly played Z, but they put him in the F to get some of those 2 and 3 looks there as well. But when you look at their defense, 25% of the time, the Eagles are playing cover 1 man. All right. 28% of the time, they're playing cover 3. 17% of the time, they are playing cover 4, right? Yeah, make sure I'm in the right column. Cover 6, 16% of the time. So essentially what you've got is cover 3, first and foremost, then cover 1 man, then it goes to cover 4, which is their quarters coverage, and then cover 6 is the order in which they run there. Now, they do play cover 0 3% of the time, which that's about middle of the pack. There's nothing extravagant there, right? Maybe top third in terms of that look. Now, they may have had a lot of red zone looks as well. But when you look at this, you're essentially saying it's going to be most of the time cover 3 or cover 1 man. That's middle field close. That screams crossers. Is what that screams. Mm-hmm. What do you think, Emilio? Am I missing something there?
No, I think you're spot on with that. And you got a big target in Musgrave. You got a speedy target in Matthew Golden. And you have a big frame receiver in Christian Watson that can run off guys if he needs to. The way that they were kind of asking Matt, and just how Quinyon Mitchell travels, who do you think that he would pick? It's probably going to be everybody, right? But they say, all right, Quinyon normally follows a number 1 wide receiver. Not saying that you have to pick him as a number 1 wide receiver. Who would you think that he would want to follow in this game?
I would imagine based off the recent tape, that would be Christian Watson. Either Christian Watson or Romeo Doubs is who he would follow.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I think they would do, because Christian Watson has been the big play guy. So if you want to do like a little, almost like a bullseye look and go, all right, you erase. Think of what we did with Carrington Valentine on Ted McMillan last week.
We'll cover 3 lock.
Yeah, that type of thing I could see. That's the way I would approach it. If you showed me the Packers tape and we've watched it all and said, all right, pick 1 receiver you want to take away this Sunday, I'm taking away Christian Watson because the guy's averaging 25 yards a catch. Or no, 23 yards a catch. That's your big play threat right there. Make them consistently, them being the Packers, make the right decision and distribute the ball accurately underneath and stay patient, because one thing we know about Jordan Love, he's a big game hunter. He won't stay patient long. He wants to go for the shot play. So, and I will say this for the people raking Matt LaFleur over the coals, after hearing his presser, watching the tape, those deep shot plays had underneath options that he didn't take. And also the bubble out there or the smoke to Savion Williams, that was an alert, just like we called it on Chalk Talk. Matt LaFleur talked about it. You got a run play baked in there. You want to take the hat count where you can get it. There's a lot of that stuff that comes into play that if Aaron Rodgers was still the quarterback, people would be saying, why does he keep changing the play? And that's how the offense is created with Matt LaFleur. So with all that being said, I'd like to see us press into the run, just like we did last week. I know it's going to piss fans off, but this is going to be one of those games that if you go out there and you try to wing it all over the yard all day and they play the possession game with their running game, you're going to find yourself in a similar situation as Carolina last week. I truly believe that. They're gonna just make you be patient until you make a mistake, stick with the run, jump out to an early lead. I'm telling you, man, if Savion doesn't fumble that ball on that first drive, that game is totally different.
Absolutely.
Totally. Sucks, man. Let's see. We had a couple other things in here real quick. I really liked what Jen Wright said. Golden has been drawing a lot of coverage. Most people say Golden's a bust, blah, 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 blah. We showed it last week. 3 guys keyed in on Golden when he ran the crosser, the climb route out of the 3, right? It literally drew 3 guys to him that opened up the dig to Romeo Doubs. The coaches are watching that tape and going, great job, Agent Zero. Great job. That's what we got you for. Now defenses have got to start to decide, do we go with Christian Watson or do we continue to hammer down on Matthew Golden? Things are about to open up for Golden. I believe that.
Yeah. I can't wait for his breakout game. And if it happens against the Eagles under the lights on Monday night, all the merrier, man. He's got the speed. He's got the hands. And I think Jordan's probably going to look to him a little bit more now that Tucker's not there, right? Everybody, Matt was saying, and Jordan, everyone's got to pull a little bit more now. You got to pull a little bit more weight now. Put another 5 on there, because now that Tucker's out of there, you're not going to get that same production out of Musgrave. Nothing against Musgrave. It's just not going to be funneled to him like that. So everybody else is going to get a little bit that they need to work on it and step up.
Yeah, definitely. Completely agree with you, though, Jim. I think that's a great comment, great observation there. I want to show one more thing. Somebody asked a question here. Too old for this. Read that, guys. I'm going to pull it up.
Jacob, what do we got here?
Too old for this is asking, who is the ref crew? And Jen Wright promptly replied, some dirtbag.
Oh,
Look at this
always true.
dirtbag watch right here, Clay Martin. Look at this guy.
God, who's named Clay?
108% Caucasian. Look at this guy from the mountains of Caucasus. This guy has
What?
This guy has an 815 credit score right now. I promise you that. Look at this guy. Are you kidding me? What a dirtbag. Seriously. So I broke it down. It's hard to see the numbers here sharing it, but they're about middle of the pack. His crew is. Clay Martin, if you could see my cursor, they're right about here in terms of penalty flags thrown per game. So I think it's not going to be like a flag fest, right? But also it's not going to be one of those games where you feel like they're non-existent. Probably not. So I'm going to play it somewhat safe. So
Hold on. Respect Orange just says Clay Martin thinks mac and cheese is too spicy.
there it is. I got it. Breaking news. So this is something we're adding into the game plan. I just went ahead and started to put it together. So in the game plan so far, I'm going to work on it tomorrow while I'm here at the house. So we've already got the injury report. We'll update that as the new one comes out. We went ahead and put the dirtbag watch in. I'll start to dive into, all right, here's the game plan for beating Philadelphia Eagles, and we'll add all that in tomorrow. So maybe we'll look up, though, guys, and get a game where we don't have a whole lot of flags. That would be awesome.
hey, let him play. Hey, you think Mike is going to get a holding call over under?
Yeah. So there you go. There's your little mini Packers-Eagles preview. Let us know in the comments if you're watching this video back later. How do you feel about that matchup? Maybe you agree or tell us, do you agree or disagree with where Jordan Love's ranked, where Jalen Hurts is ranked? Am I giving Jalen Hurts too much credit? Am I not giving him enough? Let us know in the comments how you see this game. Do you think it should be a 2.5-point game? Should the Packers be favored at home? Or do you think the Eagles are a little bit better built team? Let us know in the comments. Make sure you hit subscribe, click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. Jake, have you got anything you want to hit before? I know you got in here a little late. I want to give you the floor. Is there anything you want to touch on real quick before we jump in? What I thought we would do is go around the league week 10, kind of give everybody a preview of the games we got coming up. And then we'll also play around with the playoff predictor here a little bit too.
Playoffs? Playoffs? No, what I will say is I think I saw that you maybe came out, was it today or yesterday? You had a breaking news segment.
Playoffs?
Sorry, I had to hit you.
I knew it was going to come. You know, that was
That's what she
happening. Did you do a breaking segment on when Jaden Reed is going to be coming back? And if so, what did I miss there? Is it look like more like a week or two?
Don't try to act professional now. We've already run it. Yes, they're staying Thanksgiving, Jacob, is what I'm hearing. So
Okay.
I think Tom Silverstein reported on it in an article. There were a couple other people on Twitter saying the same thing. So Thanksgiving at Detroit, that would be awesome. Let's pull up the schedule real quick. I did this earlier too on that early stream. So we've got the Eagles, then at the Giants, Minnesota at home, and then it would be at the Detroit Lions. To me, that seems like a good spot that if you're going to be a little bit aggressive trying to get him back, hold him out until going to Detroit. Now, maybe he'll come before that, right? Maybe he'll be out and ready to go. That'd be absolutely awesome if he's available, right? So, anyway, what do you think, Emilio? Do you think Thanksgiving is realistic for Jaden Reed, or do you think that's something that it's going to take a little bit longer there?
Yeah, when did it was? What week did he get hurt?
I think it was week 1, was it not? Was it not the first game?
Oh, okay, yeah. So it was. So they said 6 to 8 weeks roughly. I would get him back. You know, you're back in their money. You saw him walking around. I'm fine with coming back Thursday. If it's not there, no problem. We have weapons there in the offense. I think that you could, let it ride. But you do have you have 3 divisional games in a row right there. You'd love to have him for the first one, but I think that you're probably looking a little bit more at the Lions game.
Yeah, everybody's confirming it was week 2. So he played week 1, and then week 2 is where he got hurt against the Commanders.
Yeah.
So, all right.
I mean,
What do you think, Jake? If you asked the question, man, how do you feel about it? When would you want him to come back?
well, I was just gonna say, we talked about it since the beginning of this year, into the off season, into from the end of last year, just how blessed we are to have a team that we have legitimately 5 to 6, sometimes even 7, depending on who was on the roster, of guys that can just next man up mentality. Even now we're seeing that in the tight end room. And you guys know that, I mean, I was absolutely devastated with the Tucker Kraft news. I think we all were as a fan base. It just shines a spotlight on, all right, Luke, now is your time. We literally drafted you a round before Tuck Norris, and we've yet to see you maybe come to fruition, but the intangibles are there. The ability is there. Everything that he put on tape, we just now need to see it have a complete game. You can talk about that too with guys like Savion, obviously Golden, adding it. Dobbs has been pretty steady Eddie this year. It's just a pretty brilliant thing to be able to have Watson come back into the fold. And now we're talking about Jaden Reed coming back. And even though we've lost a piece, we are gaining a piece if we are able to have that step in. And somebody else in the comments, I can't remember who it was. Yeah, right here. Rodney Jens was saying, could we see a little Wiley? And I believe that was one of the practice squad guys that a lot of people were a little bit excited about, because another big specimen. I think he had a pretty decent RAS as well. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. But just, again, another puzzle piece. That's why Goody in that front office gets a lot of hate, but they get a lot of I think that they don't get a lot of accolades when the way that they kind of build this roster year in and year out, having backup contingencies so that if something, God forbid, happens to your star players, you have a little bit of a deep well that you can go into. So, and then I love this right here that Jake's saying. Jake Marsky 33034 says, everybody remember, we are entering week 1 from Toyotathon. So we're getting into the absolute, like when the chill hits the air, when it starts to drop a little low, Jordan Love gets on fire.
He's a grown-ass man now. And
Sure is.
You get some of these folks that come out of Carter County down here. Carter County is like the backwoods county where we live, and they go into the Toyota dealership down there. My buddy Eric used to work there. He said, man, they come in and go, hey, you got one of them Coyote Tundras? They call it Coyote. So, yeah, it's Coyote Thon is what we're coming up on here. So, all right.